First Contact Protocols. The UEN Dauntless hung in the darkness of deep space, a silhouette against the brilliant backdrop of the Cassiopeia Nebula. Captain Mara Chen stood on the bridge, her reflection ghosted in the reinforced viewports as she studied the strange vessel that had appeared at the edge of their sensor range 3 hours ago. "Any response to our hails, Commander Wells?" Chen asked, not taking her eyes off the alien ship. It resembled nothing so much as a massive jellyfish, translucent sections pulsing with internal light, long tendrils of what appeared to be some form of energy trailing behind it. "Nothing yet, Captain," Wells replied, his fingers moving across his console with practiced efficiency. "We've transmitted the first contact protocol package on all frequencies. If they have anything resembling our communications technology, they should be able to receive it." Chen nodded, her face betraying none of the excitement churning in her stomach. Humanity had been exploring the stars for nearly 70 years without encountering intelligent alien life. Now, on what should have been a routine patrol of the outer colonies, the Dauntless had made history. "Dr. Okafor, any insights?" Chen asked, turning to the xenobiologist who had been hastily summoned to the bridge when the alien ship was first detected. The scientist's dark eyes were wide with wonder as she studied the sensor readings. "The vessel appears to be partially biological, Captain. Those energy tendrils, they're not mechanical. They're more like nervous systems. Imagine a technological-biological hybrid." "Threat assessment, Lieutenant Commander Zhao," Chen asked her tactical officer. Zhao's expression remained professionally neutral. "Unknown, Captain. Their vessel is approximately twice our size, but we can't identify weapons systems, assuming they even conceptualize warfare as we do. Their propulsion method doesn't match anything in our database. They're maintaining distance at exactly 50,000 kilometers. Not too close, not too far," Chen mused. "Cautious." "Captain," Wells suddenly called out, his voice tight with excitement. "We're receiving a transmission. It's not audio or visual as we understand it. More like data packets." "Run it through the linguistics matrix," Chen ordered. "Dr. Okafor, your input would be valuable here." The bridge crew worked in tense silence as the alien transmission was processed. Finally, a series of images and mathematical equations appeared on the main screen. "Prime numbers," Dr. Okafor whispered. "Universal constants. They're establishing a baseline for communication." "Send the corresponding section of our first contact package," Chen ordered. "Let them know we understand." For the next 2 hours, the exchange continued, mathematical concepts giving way to simple pictographs, then to more complex ideas. The alien vessel gradually moved closer, now just 20,000 kilometers away. "Captain," Zhao said suddenly, her voice dropping. "They're scanning us. Full spectrum analysis." Chen straightened in her chair. Standard protocol during first contact was to allow basic scans as a show of good faith, but this was different. "This isn't just exterior hull analysis," Zhao continued, her fingers flying across her console. "They're using some kind of penetrating scan. They're looking at our internal systems." "Shields up," Chen ordered, her voice calm but firm. "Not to full power. I don't want to appear hostile, but enough to discourage deep scanning." "Too late, Captain," Wells reported. "Their scan already got through. They've got readings on our entire ship, including the engine room." Chen's jaw tightened slightly. The Dauntless wasn't just any patrol vessel. It was the first ship in Earth's fleet to be equipped with the experimental Hawking drive, a propulsion system that manipulated the fabric of space-time itself to achieve faster-than-light travel without the massive energy expenditure of traditional warp engines. "Captain, their vessel is reacting," Dr. Okafor said, her voice filled with fascination. "The biological components are showing increased electrical activity. If I had to anthropomorphize, I'd say they're excited or alarmed." Before Chen could respond, the alien ship suddenly backed away, nearly doubling its previous distance. They've ceased all scanning, Zhao reported, and they're redirecting power to what might be defensive systems. Maintain our position, Chen ordered. No aggressive moves. New transmission coming in, Wells announced. They've adapted quickly to our communication protocols. It's structured data now. The linguistics matrix is struggling, but I think they're trying to communicate directly. The main screen flickered, and symbols began to appear, quickly reshaping themselves into recognizable letters as the ship's AI translated in real time. Human vessel. Explain contained. Science-ULRI2. Explain QUN2M PURBA BILITYMANIPULA2ION. Explain purpose. Chen exchanged glances with her senior staff. The aliens had somehow determined the basic principles behind the Hawking drive with just one scan. They're referring to our drive system. Chief Engineer Kavita Rowe's voice came through the comm. Captain, they shouldn't be able to detect those components through our shielding. Whatever scanning technology they're using, it's beyond anything we've developed. Chen considered her options carefully. First contact protocols encouraged honesty, but cautioned against revealing military capabilities or technological advantages. Send this response, she finally said. Greetings. The technology you have detected is our method of faster-than-light travel. It is based on principles of quantum mechanics and space-time manipulation. Our purpose is peaceful exploration and establishing diplomatic relations with other intelligent species. The crew waited tensely for a response. When it came, it was brief and troubling. Deception DTTCTE. Quantum manipulation technology has multiple applications. Weapon potential CALFCUL8ED. Threat SCSS meant UPGREDD. Defense Council no TIFIED. Captain, Wells said slowly, I think they believe we're lying about the Hawking drive's purpose. Or they'd recognized its potential applications beyond propulsion. Chen replied grimly. She wasn't wrong. The theoretical work behind the Hawking drive had opened up numerous military possibilities, from space-time distortion weapons to quantum field disruption. But those applications were classified at the highest levels. Earth's military had only begun exploring the possibilities. Their vessel is powering up, Zhao reported, tension evident in her voice. Energy readings are spiking across all systems. Hold position, Chen ordered. Shields at 30%. Enough to demonstrate caution but not aggression. Continue transmitting peaceful intentions. For several tense minutes, the alien vessel pulsed with increasing energy, its biological components glowing brighter. Then, unexpectedly, most of the lights dimmed. The energy tendrils ceased their movement, floating limply in space. They've powered down their primary systems, Zhao reported, confusion evident in her voice. They're maintaining life support and minimal propulsion, but everything else is offline. New transmission, Wells announced. The message that appeared on the screen was longer this time, the translation rougher. Human vessel dauntless. We are EVARITOLECTIV. Your technology EXEEDs PREDICTION models for species at your DVEOP MENT stage. NTQN's side. TNC we requires EXPLA Request diplomatic delegation aboard your vessel. 3 representatives. No weapons. Peaceful exchange of information vital to prevent MISUND RSDANDIN. Chen leaned back in her chair, considering the request. First contact protocols encouraged face-to-face meetings only after extensive remote communication. But the Varxi had clearly detected something about the Hawking drive that alarmed them, and addressing those concerns directly might be their best option for avoiding conflict. Opinions? She asked her senior staff. It's risky, Zhao said immediately. We know nothing about their biology, intentions, or cultural norms. That's precisely why we should do it, Dr. Okafor countered. This is a historic opportunity. They're already spooked by our technology, Wells pointed out. Refusing might escalate their concerns. Chen nodded slowly. Commander Wells, respond that we accept their request. Prepare Conference Room 2 for the delegation. Dr. Okafor, coordinate with medical to establish quarantine protocols. Lieutenant Commander Zhao, I want a security team present, but weapons set to non-lethal only. As her crew rushed to comply, Chen stood and moved closer to the viewport, studying the alien vessel. Its initial scan of the Dauntless had clearly triggered something: alarm, fear, or perhaps simply intense curiosity. Whatever technological or biological advantages the Farxi possessed, they had recognized something in humanity's achievements that they hadn't expected to find. Chief Rao, Chen called over the comm. How much do you think they were able to determine about the Hawking drive from their scan? There was a pause before the engineer replied. Enough to understand its basic principles, Captain, but not enough to replicate it. What concerns me is they immediately recognize its potential beyond propulsion. Chen nodded grimly. Humanity had spent decades designing the Hawking drive as a means of peaceful exploration. But like many great human innovations, nuclear fission, genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, its potential applications extended far beyond its intended purpose. As she watched the alien vessel dispatch a small shuttle toward the Dauntless, Chen couldn't help but wonder if humanity's greatest strength, its boundless creativity and innovation, might also be what other species found most terrifying about them. Technical revelations. 3 hours later, Captain Chen sat across from the Farxi delegation in Conference Room 2, trying not to stare too obviously at the aliens. The 3 Farxi representatives resembled upright cephalopods, their translucent skin revealing complex circulatory systems beneath. Multiple limbs moved with precise, fluid grace as they manipulated the translation devices they had brought aboard. The lead delegate, who had identified itself as Nexer, senior observer of the Farxi collective, had 4 large, intelligent eyes that seemed to miss nothing as they swept across the room, lingering on the human officers present. We appreciate your willingness to meet directly, Captain Chen. Nexer's words came through the translator in a slightly flat, mechanical tone. Direct observation often resolves misunderstandings more efficiently than remote communication. We agree, Chen replied carefully. You expressed concerns about our propulsion system. We're willing to discuss it within reasonable security parameters. Nexer's skin rippled with subtle color changes, blues and greens shifting in patterns that Dr. Okafor had theorized might represent emotional states. Your species entered space travel merely 70 of your years ago, Nexer stated. Yet you have developed technology that manipulates fundamental forces of reality. This progression defies standard evolutionary and technological development patterns. Chen exchanged glances with Chief Engineer Rao, who had been brought in specifically for this discussion. Human innovation often advances rapidly when we focus our collective efforts, especially during times of necessity, Chen explained. Your Hawking drive, another Farxi delegate interjected, its skin pulsing with amber hues. Our scans detected controlled microsingularities and quantum field manipulation beyond anything in our experiential database. The energy containment alone should be beyond your material science capabilities. Rao leaned forward slightly. The development of graphene diamond composite materials was a significant breakthrough that enabled safer containment. Additionally, our quantum computing systems can predict and adjust for fluctuations in milliseconds. The technological jump from your previous propulsion systems to this is discontinuous, Nexer observed, its colors shifting to deeper blues. Most species require centuries of incremental advancement to achieve similar capabilities. Humans tend to make intuitive leaps, Dr. Okafor offered. Our scientific history is full of sudden breakthroughs rather than just gradual progress. This is what concerns us, Nexer stated bluntly. Your species' capacity for rapid technological adaptation represents a statistical anomaly. The third Varxie, who had remained silent until now, suddenly extended a limb toward the holographic display in the center of the conference table. With permission, I would like to share our historical database of species development patterns. Chen nodded, and the display came to life, showing a complex graph with hundreds of colored lines, each representing a different species' technological progress over time. These are the technological development curves of all spacefaring species known to the collective, the Varxie explained. Note the consistency in development periods for critical technologies, especially those involving energy manipulation and spacetime physics. Chen studied the display with growing unease. Most of the lines showed remarkably similar slopes, with only minor variations. Then the Varxie added a new line in bright red: humanity's technological progression. It shot upward at an angle dramatically steeper than all others. "This is humanity," Nexer said unnecessarily. "In particular, observe the last 20 years. The line became nearly vertical after a point labeled quantum computing breakthrough. When we detected your vessel's energy signature, we assumed you were a much older civilization," Nexer continued, "perhaps using an outdated vessel. The revelation that this is actually your current cutting-edge technology is concerning." "Concerning how?" Chen asked directly. The Varxie exchanged glances, their skin shifting through rapid color changes too quick for the humans to interpret. "Captain Chen," Nexer finally said, "in our experience, species that develop certain technologies too rapidly often lack the cultural and philosophical framework to use them responsibly. The Hawking drive's principles can be applied to create weapons of unprecedented destructive capability. That's not our intention," Chen stated firmly. "Intentions evolve," Nexer countered. "What our scan revealed is that your vessel, which you claim is merely for exploration, already contains systems that could be quickly adapted for offensive purposes." Chief Engineer Rao stiffened beside Chen. "What exactly do you think you detected?" The third Varxie manipulated the holographic display again, and a simplified schematic of the Dauntless appeared, with certain systems highlighted. "Your quantum field generators," the Varxie explained, pointing to one highlighted area. "They are currently calibrated for propulsion, but with minimal reconfiguration, they could project destructive interference patterns that would disrupt atomic bonds and target materials." Rao's face remained impressively neutral, but Chen knew her chief engineer well enough to recognize the shock behind her eyes. The Varxie had just described a theoretical weapons application that Earth's military had only begun exploring in the most secret laboratories. Similarly, Nexer continued, "Your containment systems for the micro-singularities could be modified to create directional gravity weapons capable of tearing apart even the most reinforced hull materials." Chen maintained her composure with effort. The Varxie were describing military applications that weren't even installed on the Dauntless, but they had correctly identified the potential of the ship's systems. "You've made some interesting theoretical extrapolations," Chen said carefully. "But the Dauntless is an exploration vessel. We haven't weaponized these technologies." "Not yet," Nexer's translator conveyed the ominous tone perfectly. "But our analysis of your historical records, which you freely shared in your first contact package, indicates that your species consistently militarizes new technologies. It is a pattern." Chen couldn't entirely refute this. Human history was indeed filled with technologies developed for peaceful purposes being adapted for warfare. "Every intelligent species must find its path to maturity," Dr. Okafor interjected. "Humans have recognized our destructive tendencies and have worked to channel our innovations toward exploration and understanding." "Yet your vessel carries weaponry," one of the other Varxie pointed out. "Defensive capabilities only," Lieutenant Commander Zhao replied firmly. "Standard for any deep space vessel, given the unknowns we might encounter." Nexer's skin shifted to a deep purple. "The collective has encountered 17 other spacefaring species. All developed at predictable rates. All required centuries of social development before achieving the technologies you now possess. This suggests that humans represent either an extraordinary evolutionary accident, or what? Chen pressed when Nexer paused. Or you have had assistance, Nexer finished, possibly from an advanced species with unknown motivations. The implication hung in the air. The Varxi suspected that humanity's rapid advancement wasn't natural, that perhaps they had been uplifted by some other civilization, as pawns in a larger game. I can assure you, Chen said firmly, humanity's achievements are our own. We've had no contact with other intelligent species before now. Nexer's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Then you represent the statistical improbability of significant concern. I believe, Chen replied carefully, that you're overthinking this. Human creativity and innovation have always been our defining characteristics. We solve problems by thinking differently, not necessarily by thinking longer. To demonstrate this point, Chief Engineer Rao added, I would be willing to explain the basic principles behind the Hawking drive. Not the classified specifications, but enough to show that it's the result of human theoretical physics, not alien intervention. The 3 Varxi conferred silently, their skin patterns shifting in what appeared to be a form of communication. Finally, Nexer turned back to the humans. We would value such an explanation, it said. Additionally, we request clarification on your vessel's quantum shielding technology, which our initial scans could not fully penetrate. Chen nodded to Rao, who began explaining the theoretical foundations of human FTL technology. As the engineer spoke, Shen watched the Varxi closely. Their color patterns became increasingly complex, occasionally pulsing with bright flashes of white and gold that Dr. Okafor had tentatively identified as indicators of surprise or alarm. The critical breakthrough, Rao was explaining, came when Dr. Eliza Hawking realized that quantum entanglement could be used to create stable wormhole apertures at the microscopic level. By generating thousands of these apertures in sequence and precisely controlling their position, we create a quantum slitstream that allows the ship to essentially slide between 2 points in spacetime. This approach is unconventional, one of the Varxi commented. Most species pursue traditional warp field technology for centuries before considering quantum manipulation. We tried that, Rao said with a slight smile. The energy requirements were prohibitive. We needed a different approach. Different approaches create different risks, Nexer observed. Your method of manipulating spacetime fabric creates potential instabilities that could propagate beyond your vessel. Our containment systems prevent that, Rao assured them. For now, Nexer replied. But the theoretical foundation of your technology inherently creates escalating risks as it scales up. Have you considered the implications of larger vessels using this technology, or multiple vessels in proximity? Chen watched Rao's expression carefully. These were questions that had indeed troubled Earth's scientists, leading to strict protocols about Hawking drive activation distances and synchronization. We have safety protocols, Rao said simply, not elaborating further. Nexer's skin darkened significantly. Captain Chen, the Varxi Collective must formally express concern regarding humanity's possession of technologies beyond your developmental stage. The potential for unintended consequences, or intentional weaponization, represents a significant risk factor in our sector of space. Are you suggesting, Chen asked directly, that we should restrict our technological development based on your assessment of our developmental stage? We are suggesting, Nexer replied, that technology transfers and appropriate oversight might be advisable. The collective has extensive experience in guiding younger species through technological transitions. Chen felt a flash of indignation, but kept her expression neutral. The Varxi Collective's concern is noted. However, humanity has managed its technological development independently thus far. We see no reason for outside oversight. The atmosphere in the conference room grew tense as the implications of this exchange settled over everyone present. The Varxi were essentially suggesting that humanity be placed under a form of technological guardianship, a proposal no Earth government would ever accept. Perhaps, Dr. Okafor interjected smoothly. We could discuss cultural exchange rather than technological oversight. Understanding each other's perspectives might ease concerns on both sides. Nexer's colors shifted again, this time to gentler blues and greens. A reasonable suggestion. However, our immediate concern remains the quantum manipulation technology aboard this vessel. Its potential applications extend far beyond propulsion. Applications we haven't pursued, Chen emphasized. Yet our scans detected design elements that would facilitate such adaptations, one of the other Varxi countered. Your quantum field generators are constructed with exceptional modularity, a feature unnecessary for simple propulsion, but essential for potential weapons configuration. Chen glanced at Rao, whose expression tightened slightly. The Varxi were correct. The Dauntless had indeed been designed with systems that could be reconfigured for defensive or offensive applications if necessary. It was standard United Earth-Navy practice, born from centuries of military pragmatism. Before Chen could formulate a diplomatic response, a sharp alert chimed from her communication implant. Captain. Commander Wells' voice came through clearly. Multiple vessels have just emerged from FTL at the edge of our sensor range. Configuration matches the Varxi vessel. Count stands at 17 and rising. Chen kept her eyes fixed on Nexer, whose skin had suddenly pulsed with bright patterns. Is there something you'd like to tell me? Senior Observer Nexer. A precautionary measure, Nexer replied smoothly. The Defense Council felt it prudent to dispatch additional observers given the unprecedented nature of this encounter. 23 vessels now, Captain, Wells updated through the comm. They're forming a containment pattern around our position. Chen stood slowly. I believe we should continue this discussion once we understand the purpose of this fleet movement. Nexer rose as well, its limbs moving with fluid grace. Of course, Captain. However, the Collective Council has authorized me to present a formal request. The Varxi Collective asks that humanity restrict its deployment of quantum manipulation technology until proper safeguards and limitations can be established under collective oversight. The true nature of this first contact was now becoming clear. This wasn't merely a peaceful exchange. It was an attempt to contain what the Varxi perceived as a dangerously advanced technology in the hands of an unpredictable species. I'll relay your request to Earth's government, Chen replied diplomatically. But I should inform you that surrounding an Earth vessel with a battle fleet is unlikely to create a favorable impression. It is not a battle fleet, Nexer insisted. Merely an observation contingent with defensive capabilities. A standard security protocol when encountering potentially destabilizing technologies. As Chen escorted the Varxi delegation back toward the shuttle bay, she couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. Humanity had spent decades fearing that first contact with an alien species might reveal them to be technologically primitive compared to galactic standards. Instead, they had encountered a species that feared them. Unexpected alliance. Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, watching as the Varxi fleet maintained its position. 28 vessels now surrounded them in a perfect spherical formation, their translucent hulls pulsing with internal energy. Still no aggressive posturing, Lieutenant Commander Zhao reported. Their weapons systems, if that's what those energy nodes are, remain powered down. But they've established an unbroken sensor net around us. If we try to initiate the Hawking drive, they'll know instantly. They're containing us while they decide what to do, Chen concluded grimly. Captain, Wells called from his station. We're receiving a transmission from Nexer's vessel. Text only. Chen nodded, and the message appeared on the main display. Captain Chen. The Defense Council requests additional consultation. Your technological capabilities require contextual understanding. Explanation necessary. They're stalling, Zhao muttered, keeping us here while they bring in reinforcements or decide on a strategy. Chen wasn't so certain. The Varxi had shown genuine alarm at the Dauntless's technology, but not aggression. Their reaction seemed born more from fear than hostility. "Prepare a response," Chen ordered. "Inform Nexer that I'm willing to continue consultations, but only if they explain exactly why our technology has triggered such an extreme response." As Wells transmitted the message, Dr. Okafor approached Chen quietly. "Captain, something isn't adding up. The Varxi claim to have encountered 17 other spacefaring species, all developing at predictable rates. But they seem genuinely disturbed by our technology." "You think they're hiding something?" Chen asked. "I think they're afraid of something," Okafor replied. "Something specific about our quantum manipulation technology has triggered a deeply ingrained fear response. Did you notice how their color patterns shifted to alarm indicators whenever Chief Rao mentioned the quantum slitstring effect?" Before Chen could respond, Wells announced, "New transmission, Captain. And it's different. Visual format this time." The main screen flickered, and Nexer's image appeared. The Varxi seemed agitated, its skin rippling with complex patterns. "Captain Chen," Nexer began without preamble, "the Defense Council has authorized me to share classified information. This is unprecedented, but necessary given the circumstances." Chen moved closer to the screen. "I'm listening. 12,000 years ago, by your measurement, this sector of space was dominated by a species called the Precursors," Nexer explained. "They achieved technological advancement at a rate similar to humanity's current trajectory. Their final breakthrough was a form of quantum manipulation technology remarkably similar to your Hawking drive." Nexer paused, its colors shifting to deep blues and purples. "Within 3 centuries of developing this technology, they were extinct. Their civilization collapsed as quantum field manipulations destabilized the fabric of reality in their core systems." "A technological disaster?" Dr. Okafor asked, stepping into view of the transmission. "Partly," Nexer replied, "but primarily a war. As quantum manipulation technology proliferated among their colonies, different factions developed increasingly powerful applications. What began as an energy production system evolved into reality-altering weapons. Their final war tore holes in space-time itself." Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "And you believe our Hawking drive represents the first step down the same path?" "The similarities are disturbing," Nexer confirmed. "The Varxi and other species in this sector evolved in the aftermath of the Precursor collapse. Our collective scientific development has been carefully managed to avoid the same fate. When our sensors detected your vessel using controlled quantum manipulation, it triggered ancient warning protocols. That's why you surrounded our ship," Chen realized. "Not as an act of aggression, but containment, in case our drive system destabilized." "Correct," Nexer acknowledged. "The Defense Council believe your technology might be inherently unstable, a desperate experiment by a young species unaware of the dangers." "Our drive system is stable," Chief Engineer Rao interjected, having joined the conversation. "We've conducted thousands of tests and simulations." "As did the Precursors," Nexar countered. "The dangers do not manifest immediately. They accumulate as the technology proliferates and advances, small tears in space-time that gradually expand. Quantum field disruptions that cascade across light years." Chen exchanged glances with her officers. Earth scientists had theorized about similar risks, but had believed their containment systems adequate to prevent them. "We appreciate this information," Chen said carefully. "It obviously merits serious consideration. But the decision to restrict or modify our technology can only be made by Earth's government after thorough review." "There may not be time for such deliberation," Nexer replied, its colors shifting rapidly. "Our long-range sensors have detected anomalies consistent with the early stages of quantum field destabilization originating from your home system." Chen felt her blood run cold. "That's impossible. The Dauntless is the only vessel equipped with a Hawking drive currently in operation." Nexer's colors pulsed with what Dr. Okafor had interpreted as sympathy. "The activation of quantum manipulation technology affects space-time beyond the immediate vicinity of the device. Your initial testing likely created subtle disruptions that are only now becoming detectable. Can you share your sensor data? Reo asked urgently. Yes, Nexar agreed. But more importantly, we can offer assistance. The collective has maintained research into safe containment and dispersion of quantum field disruptions, precautionary measures developed from studying precursor ruins. The bridge fell silent as the implications settled over the human crew. What had begun as an exciting first contact had transformed into a potential existential crisis, not from alien aggression, but from humanity's own technological advancement. If what you're saying is accurate, Chen finally said, then we have a common interest in addressing these anomalies. Indeed, Nexar agreed. The Defense Council has authorized me to offer collective resources and expertise. In return, we ask only that your species halt further deployment of quantum manipulation technology until appropriate safeguards can be implemented. It was a reasonable request under the circumstances, Chen acknowledged to herself. But something still bothered her. These anomalies, she said carefully. If they've only recently become detectable, how did you happen to be in this exact region of space to encounter us? The timing seems convenient. Nexar's colors shifted to patterns Chen hadn't seen before. An astute observation, Captain. The truth is more complex. The collective has maintained automated monitoring systems throughout this sector for millennia, specifically designed to detect quantum field manipulations. When your vessel activated its drive 6 months ago, it triggered alerts. We have been tracking the Dauntless since then, gathering data before making direct contact. So this wasn't a chance encounter, Chen realized. You've been studying us. Yes, Nexar admitted. We needed to understand your capabilities and intentions before revealing ourselves. The collective feared you might be precursor descendants who had rediscovered their ancestors' technology. Wells leaned closer to Chen. Captain, if they've been monitoring us for 6 months, they could have observed multiple Hawking drive activations. They know more about our capabilities than they've admitted. Chen nodded slightly, acknowledging the point without drawing attention to it. Nexar, we're willing to cooperate regarding the anomalies. But full cooperation requires full disclosure. What else haven't you told us about the precursors or these quantum disruptions? Nexar was silent for a moment, its colors shifting through complex patterns. Finally, it seemed to come to a decision. The situation is more urgent than I initially conveyed, it admitted. The quantum disruptions near your home system are not merely the echo of your initial testing. They bear energy signatures consistent with deliberate manipulation. Meaning what, exactly? Chen pressed. Meaning, Nexar replied gravely, that either your species is conducting far more advanced quantum experiments than your vessel suggests, or something else is utilizing similar technology in proximity to your world. Something else, Dr. Okafor repeated. You believe another species is active in our system. We believe it possible that precursor automated systems may have reactivated, Nexar explained. Their civilization collapsed, but they seeded contingency technologies throughout this sector, self-repairing systems designed to rebuild their civilization if conditions became favorable. Chen felt the pieces clicking into place, and our activation of the Hawking drive might have triggered these dormant systems. Precisely, Nexar confirmed, which is why the Defense Council authorized this unprecedented sharing of information. If precursor systems are reactivating near your homeworld, all our civilizations face a potential threat. Captain Chen turned to her senior staff, seeing the same mixture of concern and determination on their faces that she felt herself. What had begun as a tense first contact had evolved into something far more complex, a potential alliance against a threat neither humanity nor the Varxi Collective fully understood. Send a priority message to Earth Command, she ordered Wells. Include all data the Varxi have shared about these quantum anomalies. Then prepare the Dauntless for immediate return to the Sol system. Turning back to the screen, Chen addressed Nexar. We'll need to verify these anomalies ourselves. If your information proves accurate, I believe Earth's government will be open to collaboration on containment measures. The collective will provide assistance, Nexar assured her. Several of our vessels are equipped with quantum dampening technology that may help stabilize the disruptions temporarily. Then I suggest, Chen replied, that we continue this discussion en route to Earth. Time may be a factor. Nexar's colors shifted to what Dr. Okafor had tentatively identified as agreement patterns. An acceptable arrangement. The Defense Council authorizes me to accompany your vessel with 2 of our ships. The remainder of our fleet will follow at maximum sustainable velocity. As the transmission ended, Chen turned to her crew. Prepare for departure. Chief Rao, I want you working with the HFY scientists immediately. Compare their data with everything we know about quantum field stability. Yes, Captain, Rao replied. But if they're right about these anomalies, we may need to completely reconsider the safety parameters of the Hawking drive. One crisis at a time, Chief, Chen said with a grim smile. First we confirm the threat, then we address our technology. As the bridge crew rushed to their stations, Dr. Okafor approached Chen quietly. It's ironic, isn't it? We've spent decades fearing that first contact might reveal humans to be technologically inferior. Instead, we've discovered that our rapid advancement might be our greatest liability. Chen nodded thoughtfully. Or our greatest strength. The Varxi fear our technology because their entire civilization developed in the shadow of the precursor's collapse. They've been conditioned to avoid certain scientific paths, while humans have always